welcome to Mage Masters. My name's Ben, this is my co-host Megan,
Hi.
And our other co-host Matt.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk about games that had the most difficult decisions you could imagine. Games that we agonized over for the hours it gave us or the very few moments we were given an opportunity to think. We're excited to talk to you about it today, and we're going to start with Matt, who's going to tell us all about a game that he had to make a very difficult decision in.
All right. Well, mine is from Don't Nod Studios. It's Life is Strange. It's a 5-episode game. Spoilers. If you haven't played this game.
Spoilers!
At the very end, you have the choice of either killing your best friend Chloe or sacrificing the entire town that you've lived in. Me, personally, had a hard time choosing, but at the end, I decided to save my best friend because I had more emotional ties with her than I did with the people that I met in this town.
So you killed an entire town worth of people for one person?
For one person.
Wow.
Yep.
I, of course, played that game, and my save file got deleted after the 4th episode.
That was unbelievable.
It was agonizing.
I can't imagine. That would have made me cry.
Oh?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, great. So, my game for toughest decision, it's a little bit, we'll see if it actually counts. Up to you. Metal Gear Solid 3, in my opinion, hardest decision ever, but you're kind of forced into it. Basically, end of the game, right? You get to the final boss fight against none other than the boss. The whole lead up to that, it's just killer. You go in there, you think you know what the deal is, but then you go through the long fight with her, and then at the very end, you're there standing over her body. She's been defeated. She's pretty much hanging on by a thread. And you stand there, and you're in the field with the petals and the flowers and everything. It's absolutely beautiful. You keep standing there after she's done her little spiel, and you think, all right, it's cutscene. Game's going to continue going. And then, no, you slowly realize that you are in control, and you are the one who has to kill her, pull the trigger. And it just threw me for a loop, I'm telling you. I tried everything. I just avoided it for the longest time. Minutes, probably just standing there thinking the game's going to, catch on at some point or something is going to make sense. I started trying to walk around and stuff, and absolutely nothing. So, of course, I just came to the final realization that I do have to pull the trigger, which was just the saddest, hardest thing in the world. And then, of course, after that, a few other things happened, but you just realize what her mission was, and just everything she had sacrificed, and you went in there thinking it was one thing, and then by the end, your mind was completely blown by that ending. Metal Gear Solid 3, easily one of the best games ever, not just of that series, but overall. That ending just killed me. Yes, technically you didn't have a decision. The game kind of forces you to go one way, but I suppose, as Ben mentioned earlier when we were talking about this, you could have just turned off the game in protest, which you would have missed out on a good ending, but I was just very torn.
But you wouldn't have to shoot somebody who was dying.
Yeah, somebody who basically is like a mother figure to you if you don't know the game, and it's just...
And at this point, we're not even going to warn you about spoilers, because it's from PlayStation 2.
Yes.
So you only have yourself to blame that you haven't played it.
It was a while. You've had some time to catch up on this, and if not, then you should totally get it, even though I just spoiled it, so... Yeah.
That's on them.
She just saved you 60 hours of gameplay.
True.
But
and lots of Kenyan mangrove crabs.
Of the most amazing hours of gameplay, I'm telling you. Even if it's been spoiled, you should totally go play it, because
it's a good game.
Again, it's fantastic.
For me, it was Telltale's Walking Dead.
Yes.
The first series, and not the moment at the end that made both of you cry. But for me, it was the moment at the very beginning when you have to make your very first decision, and you're deciding between Kenny's son, Duck, and Herschel's son, who's trying to patch up the fence, and the zombie grabs him, and man, it messed me up. I sat there for like the 2 seconds it gave me, and panicked, and of course our friend Eric was there, and he was making fun of me the whole time, because I had no idea what I was getting into. I hadn't watched the show at that point, I didn't know anything about it, I never read the comics.
Or a Telltale game.
Yeah, I never played a Telltale game, besides Sam and Max, which is fantastic, but not everybody's going to know about that, and yeah, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect, and man, when he got pulled through the fence, I started freaking out. So of course, I picked the younger kid because I felt like the older guy should have been able to fight the thing off on his own, and of course he can't, and he dies. And then Herschel hates you, and it's super depressing. And I was so upset about that decision that I restarted the game and went all the way up to that part again and played the whole episode up to that point and then picked that guy. And the kid dies anyway, and then Kenny's angry at you. So then, of course, I was like, well, that was a waste of 35 minutes. And I loaded my save back up and went about the way I had been going. But what a difficult decision and a frustrating decision. And that kind of leads me to my next question for both of you, which is, have you ever played a game that just connected with you so emotionally, had such an amazing impact on your life that you just were brought to tears at some moment in the story or during the game or from a character? Have either of you ever gone through that?
Yeah, well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I think of the first game that ever made me cry was Final Fantasy X. I came to the party a little bit late. This was my first Final Fantasy game.
Again, a PlayStation 2 game.
Yes.
You can't get angry at us for ruining it.
Spoilers.
It's on you.
Anywho, very long game. I think I sunk 100 hours into RPG, JRPG. Oh, fantastic game all the way through. Fell in love with all the characters, even with weird quirks and all. And then you get to the end.
Kimry.
The
Blue Lion guy, you loved him.
Yeah,
you fell in love with all the characters. Kamari, I'm sorry.
He was protective of Yuna. He was like her bodyguard.
And you fell in love with Yuna?
Yuna's awesome. Don't diss her. What?
You just like her because you played the second one. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead,
She's
tell the
fantastic
people.
in the first one, too.
Tell them about why it made you
awesome.
cry.
She's like the best summoner, and I love her. And sure, she may not be the most
She's
well-written
the only
character.
summoner.
Whatever. It's like the Slayer, Buffy. She's the chosen one, whatever. So
The best character in that game was Seymour.
He's got radical hair, and
it is super blue.
he's
and
very
huge
strange. And
he is weird.
yeah.
I still like him.
And he turned into that big thingamabob.
I didn't finish the game.
Oh, well, there you go. You don't know? He's a bad guy.
I know he is. I thought he was cool. Go on, please. Tell the people why you cried.
Yes, so, okay, you finally get through this long game, and you get to the end, and of course everything's sort of foretold, and if you were paying attention, I suppose you could have guessed this was coming, but I did not. So, you get to the end, you battle Sin, big boss fight. Of course, Final Fantasy, it takes forever, and, many different stages to...
The fantasy was not final.
You think, all right, that's it, we're done now. Oh no, he's gonna morph into something else, and then morph into something else, and then you gotta travel
Used all your
over here.
items and used all your magic.
And yeah, summons and all the...
Sat through a minute-long summon each time you cast it.
Yes. Lots of cutscenes too. So anywho, you finally defeat this thing. And Yuna's doing her summoning thing, and, releasing all the summons are going, and, they're becoming the wonderful little spear things, and souls are released or whatever from their suffering and all that. Same thing with Sin. Sin turned out to be Jack, which is Titus's father. Anywho. So, of course, we finally, realize what, again, has been foretold in the game, I suppose. They give you nice little hints throughout it, is that Titus and Auron, of course, are not. They're from a different time period. So once we defeat Sin, they're going to go bye-bye. So literally, we just got through this whole battle. We're on top of our ship, and they, Titus in particular is just starting to fade from existence, and it's just absolutely heart-wrenching because
like Marty McFly and
sort of
Back to the Future 2.
Sort of, yeah. It's essentially kind of like that. You just kind of fade away, and I don't think all the characters, like myself, kind of were clued into that until it actually started happening. So,
but there's no hoverboard in Final Fantasy X.
No, but there's the Blitzball thing, which is cool.
That's also why she was sad she didn't win the Blitzball championship.
No. Did anyone actually beat that? Because
I did. I won the championship.
You can, yeah. If you win,
and he actually walks out. Too. He walks out with the
cup,
trophy.
Right?
Yeah.
I never. That
yeah,
was like
I remember
the
reading in the
thing.
strategy guide. There was a strategy guide you could buy.
Yeah.
And I remember. Yeah, that's pretty sad, man. You're the only person. You and Eric are the only people.
Every Final Fantasy game, I buy the strategy guide.
I don't blame you. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Kind of sad. So anyway, yeah, but that's why you were able to beat the Blitzball tournament, because you had the strategy guide, you cheater.
It's not cheating.
Just using strategies that other people who have played the game have used. So anyway, so you started to cry at the end?
I did, because it's this whole thing where, like, she tries to run to him. He's just basically trying to walk off, like, the hero. I'm like, okay, I gotta go now because I'm disappearing. And she runs after him. And, of course, because he's disappearing, falls through him. And it's just this whole thing, and he tries to come up behind her and hugs her and all this stuff, but he's fading away, so he kind of like passes through her, and then he actually walks through her and jumps off the edge of the ship, and that's it as he disappears. And it's just...
Reminds me of an episode of Doctor Who.
I'm trying to think which one that was now. Okay,
when
but...
David Tennant disappears with Rose, and he's trying to like hug her at the end of... It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
On the beach!
Yeah,
because
Oh,
he's
you
not...
got so
it's
excited.
a projection. That killed me. That made me... Yep.
See, there you
That
go.
was...
You cried during that too?
I did.
So maybe it's not the game. Maybe it's the concept of people fading from
guys
existence.
disappearing.
And just disappearing and into the netherworld, and you don't know where they went. And they
That's
true.
true. Maybe. I don't like it when...
We're going to try to add a video effect of that happening to Matt, and then we'll see if it makes you cry.
That would be hilarious.
Goodbye.
Do I have to... I guess I have to act like it right now if we're going to put that in later.
Sure, go ahead, try it.
That
was
so
sad.
fake. That was bad.
There you go, Matt. That's like when
I
you
can't-
talked about the suicide roller coaster.
This is why I'm not an actor. So, yeah.
Go ahead. So, Matt, what about you?
Yes.
As for me, my emotional experience would be with Telltale's Walking Dead. Once again, another 5-part episode game. At the very
I
end,
like those episodic games.
yeah,
They're very good.
you build into these characters.
I'll remind you.
But the very last episode in the season 1, your main character Lee gets bitten by a zombie, and he's still going to find Clementine because she was kidnapped, and he's fighting the disease, whatever H1Z1 is, and he's turning into a zombie. And at the very end, he handcuffs himself and he asks Clementine to kill him. And it was that emotional bond that I've had with them for, 5 episodes, 3 hour, maybe 3 hour episodes each. And having to make that decision of having to kill him and knowing that this character doesn't exist anymore.
Well, there's nothing you can do, basically, to save him. It's the helplessness. It's just...
Yeah, I wonder if you had to choose between saving Lee and sacrificing an entire town, Matt, what you would have picked.
I probably would have saved Lee.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Or if you had the choice between saving Lee and saving Clem. Because I have like those questions about like that game and like The Last of Us. That would be another game that made me unbelievably emotional. But because I was worried throughout that whole game that I was going to have to make a choice between saving one or the other.
Yeah.
Or something.
That'd be a tough one.
Where one of them was going to die.
Because I love both characters, so that would be a real emotional choice of who do you want to save the most.
So, I mean, yeah, but that's a hypothetical. We don't have to worry about that right now. Maybe
That's
we'll do
true.
another episode on that.
What about you?
Huh?
What about you, Ben? What do you
So, Final Fantasy Tactics, I kind of mentioned this before. It's the only game that's ever made me cry, and I have played a lot of games. The one and only, yeah, that was my first and last. And there's a character.
You played The Last of Us?
I didn't beat The Last of Us. I didn't get into it. I know people love. Okay,
There's a story.
all right. I know people loved it. I saw the end. I think that might be why I didn't get into it. I was at my buddy's house. He was playing it. I hadn't played it. Yeah. So anyway, listen. Let me tell you about this thing. So it's okay. Righteous anger, righteous fury. Like Samuel L. Jackson. Flip a table. Quote some Bible verse that doesn't exist.
Naughty. Sorry, continue.
Listen, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. I beat all the Ratchet and Clanks. You feel better now? So anyway, in Final Fantasy Tactics, there's a character. His name's Delita. He's like your best buddy. You were both raised poor. You have sisters who are good friends, Alma and I don't remember Tita. I think her name was, but anyway,
Tita.
that's her name. Yeah, Tita. Tita. I'm pretty sure that was her name. So anyway, she's on a bridge, and there's this guy who. Had joined your group and you saved him from dying earlier. And he loads up a crossbow and shoots Delita's sister. And she just slumps down in a pile on the bridge. And Delita goes and grabs her and is holding her by this gunpowder windmill. And it ignites and blows up. And it kind of flashed the screen. But I don't know what about that moment made me so emotional. But I just remember sitting there and crying because I guess I just didn't expect that to happen. I assumed, like every other good game or whatever, that, the hero always wins and people don't die. And, now understand this is PlayStation 1. So we're going back to when I was like probably 13, 14 years old. It could have been a hormonal thing. Don't know. But, yeah, I definitely cried. So what about you? Why don't you tell us what you like what games have affected you emotionally, what games have meant something to you personally. Maybe it spoke to a situation you were going through in your life. Maybe you were depressed about something and you played a game and it encouraged you, or maybe you were really happy and you played a game and it made you really depressed, like watching a movie or something like that that's had that impact on you. I think we probably all had those experiences. Please like, comment, share this video so that we can continue to make more and continue to engage you and see what you're really interested in. Thanks so much for watching the first episode ever of Mage Masters.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.